Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Live, or Stories to Wake Up By. Let's call it that. Stories to wake up by. You know, the movies are stories to wake up by. At least that's the way I see them. Good movies. They are like messages from the other side of culture. Just imagine, you know, we live in culture. Culture is the fishbowl we live in. We're all swimming around in this fishbowl called culture. And of course we can't see the fishbowl. But our movies are inside the fishbowl, and we go to these, it's almost like all the little fish will go to a theater, sit down, forget their bodies, and enter into an alternate reality for a couple of hours. Well, to me it feels like, with movies like Avatar and The Life of Pi and all these great movies, that it's like they are written from outside of the culture, and then they are sent into the culture, to the theaters, where the little fish in the culture all go and watch the movies. And they like the movies because they take them away from their split mind. They forget they're split. They forget they're in the culture of anxiety. They forget the anxiety for a few moments. And the message of the movie is a healing message. A healing message, you see. But, so these movies are stories to wake up by. To wake up to the healing of our own split mind. So I've been talking lately, months, years, as I discover the healing of my own split mind. And split mind is anxiety. And we've been looking lately in terms of culture. Culture is like the salesman, the vacuum cleaner salesman, who comes in and throws some coal dust on the floor that your vacuum cleaner won't pick up. And he sells you a new vacuum cleaner that picks up the dust he induced. So culture induces an anxiety, a split, and then offers remedies to heal the pain of the split. And that's the way it works. So there's always new remedies, new excitements, new products, new religions, new ideology, new political movements, all to remove the pain of the anxiety that culture induces, as something, as like a fishbowl induces the shape of the bowl onto the fish. If the fishbowl is square, the fish go around and keep bumping into these square corners and say, why did we all, that's just the way it is. It's a square world. Well, we live in an anxiety-ridden world, and we say, well, that's just the way it is. It's an anxiety world. Not realizing that our real mind is not anxious. That our real name, our real being is not anxious. It's kind of like the snow globe. You shake it, you keep thinking life is snowy. What's shaking it? Culture. If culture can't stop shaking it. You see, just like a person with palsy can't stop, you see. It keeps shaking. So while we're running around inside the snow globe, trying to get rid of the snowflakes and get to clarity. We can't get to clarity because the culture's shaking the snow globe. Isn't that a good image? The culture shakes the snow globe. And we can't see the hand shake the culture shaking it because we're inside of it. We're like the little girl and the woman in the palm of King Kong. Suppose this palm of King Kong is our culture, and it shakes, and you're in there, and you think, well, this is, I'll get rid of the shake inside the culture, but with the hand is shaking it, you see. And this really is a good metaphor for our suffering. All of us create the suffering that we try to get out of in the future. So time is part of the split. This was up from yesterday. I keep drawing my little man here, with a little split, you see. And this is kind of like my cartoon character. I'll put him up here too. And this is really an image of me. I think all cartoonists, everybody, what they draw is really about themselves. Art is always about yourself. But this split, and I talked about this yesterday, we all recognize that it's the feeling of being outside yourself, of not being complete, of watching yourself, judging yourself. This is not good enough. You're not good enough. You need a little more. You need a little less. The soup's too hot. The soup's too cold. Needs a little more spice. Too much spice. A little more salt. Oh, too much salt. Maybe some pepper. Well, not too much. You see, it'll be better. You got to get to better. You got to get to complete. So this got to get to here is time. So the feeling, whenever we look at our watch, there's time. If we're totally involved in now, if we're totally here, like I'm here with you, there is no time. Oh, I can say, well, yeah, there's time. I see the clock and I got a little thing here. I got 13 more minutes of time left, you see. But that's a conventional use of time. That's just a tool. But the living in time is what we're talking about. I need more time to be me. I need more time to get my image in alignment with the image society expects of me. So culture creates images, and we try to make our image fit into a acceptable cultural image. Like culture is the father, and I need to get in alignment with a particular aspect of culture that will be acceptable to the father. Because I spent half my life looking for the approval of an imaginary father. My physical father never gave it to me, so I was seeking it in culture. And this creates a double bind, because it's an image we're trying to become. And we know in our heart of hearts that an image is an abstraction. It's not real. So where is the real me, you see? And we get into all the fairy tales. Pinocchio. What did Pinocchio want? He wanted to be a real boy. All of our movies are about wanting to be authentic and real. So all the movies, the stories to wake up by that are coming into our culture, into our fishbowl, all have the same message, pretty much essentially, is how to become authentic, how to become real and transcend and heal the wound that won't heal. The wound that won't heal is created by our culture. And now culture is not like and this is where we get into our modern predicament, where we all know, we sense something is manipulating us. Something is controlling us. Something is some malevolent force. And so we create these conspiracy theories. We even create a political movement called movement conservatism, which said that the government is taking away your freedom. The government is the evil force. The government is Moriarty of the Sherlock, you see. Moriarty was Sherlock's malevolent shadow. And so we created the government as our Moriarty. But that's all inside culture. That is all inside culture. It's inside the fishbowl. Change the government, kill the government, obey the government. Doesn't make any difference. The split mind still remains. The floating anxiety that something's not complete. Because as you all know, in culture, as soon as you complete something, as soon as you get the new car, as soon as you get the job, as soon as you get the marriage, as soon as you get the baby, there's more anxiety. There's more to do. There's more pursuit. There's more hope. Hope, you see. Hope, H-O-P-E. There's more hope that tomorrow I'll be rid of this anxiety. and be at ease, like in the old iced tea commercial. You see. So commercials all give you hope. Commercials all sell you hope that this product, this medicine, will relieve you from the split of the mind and time, you see. So I'm trying to get in my own journeys, in my own search, in my own exploration of the interior. So every day in my talks, I invite you to join me in this exploration of culture. Now that's what Buddhism is all about, but I've really gotten kind of excited about talking about culture because we can all identify with that because we're all in it. And we all see on the media and every day we see the recycling of hope and the despair and the running from this and the creating of buffers. You see, culture creates a buffer against the essential anxiety or split that it induces in us from childhood, you see. So it induces the split and then creates the remedies or the buffers. And we spend our whole life from birth to death pursuing new buffers, you see, new remedies. And Buddha called this the wheel of samsara. Excuse me, the wheel of samsara. It's the treadmill. You know, it's the hamster on a wheel. It's the donkey with a carrot, you see. So we sense the split mind, but we pursue its healing in time, which is the split, the catch-22. In Buddhism and non-dual traditions, even the teachings of Jesus is all about this, but culture incorporated the teachings of Jesus into the split mind, you see, so even religion is part of the culture that chases salvation in time. Chasing salvation in time in religion or chasing products on the internet. It's all the same remedy, you see. Or politics. Restore America. Chasing America in time. Kingdom of heaven. Chasing the kingdom of heaven in time. Chasing a new car, a new product, a new deodorant in time. You see, the whole cultural cycle is in time and hope that tomorrow will be the end of suffering. And the suffering is induced in the culture. Now, every culture is different. Some cultures have archaic cultures, primitive cultures that we in our West, we poo-poo on. Oh, they don't have any. They're obsolete because they don't have any things. So our culture is all about having things. The more things you have, the more valuable and mature and modern you are, you see. So a culture that has no things, which basically the original teachings of Buddhism was basically the Buddhist was a monk and all he had was a bowl and a robe and that was it. No things. Cut the ties to culture. So the wandering monk, you see, has cut the ties to culture. And we have a lot of examples of that. And today, somebody goes and lives in the woods. You go camping. You become a hermit. You become, they're all examples of people who try to cut the umbilical cord. Go to a retreat for a weekend. Our society is full of this now. Retreats in the monastic tradition in the world is trying to cut the ties to culture while you're in the world. We no longer have circles. We sense that we're recycling ourselves. We have the sense that it's Groundhog Day. I've been here before. It's a different content, it's a different set of people, but I have the same feelings, the same emotional script, the same reaction. I'm going in circles. I'm chasing myself. It's kind of like the cartoon of the person in the desert and he sees some tracks. Oh, wow, and he follows that. I'll get out. And then, oh, there's 2 people. Wow. Oh, there's 3 people. I'm following a whole bunch of people. And it's his own tracks. That's the feeling that we're trapped in a culture. And it's very predominant today. It's very powerful today. So we're screaming and yelling and angry and fighting and screaming and creating insane movements, all Nazis and everything is trying to punch out of the culture bag, trying to get born into a new whole America, trying to get born or discover the split and heal the split in our mind. It's all in us. It's not in the culture. The split is in us. Culture is an abstraction. And when you see, Joseph Campbell is always talking about making culture transparent to the transcendent, which is kind of like we're living in a fishbowl that's opaque, and you think, and it's got walls around it, you see. So I'm looking at these green screen walls of reality, but I'm inside of a bowl. And if I see that it's just a projection on this wall of the bowl, you see, if I see that it's just a projection, it becomes transparent. And I see through the culture. It's kind of like you're standing at a crossroads and a train's going by, boxcars. And you try to read the boxcars. So you go vroom, vroom, vroom. All you see is boxcars. And you look, that's culture. That's thinking. But if you relax and stop trying to see anything, you see through the train and you see people on the other side of the tracks, the crossroads, waiting to cross. You see the houses in the fields, all through the gap in the boxcars. And the boxcars become a blur. The boxcars become transparent to the field. So culture can become transparent to the field of reality. That's a great image. That's a great metaphor. Because you can practice it. I can practice it right on the front, on my front porch. South Main Street, traffic. I can watch the cars. Oh, that's a truck. Ooh, that's a car. Ooh, that's a truck. And I keep thinking about, what kind of truck is that? Who is that? Where is that going? And then I relax. And the trucks, the cars become a blur, and I see the houses on the other side. I see the whole field. I see the whole block. My vision now is panoramic. I see the field, the ground, and the traffic. It no longer bothers me. The traffic is just traffic. My bell rang. Thanks for dropping in. See you at Martini.